Hi there everybody, Ollie here, aka Secret Inverse here, another episode of Magic Duels. So for today's deck tech, we're going to be looking at my Eldrazi Aggro deck. So I think I mentioned that in one of the previous episodes I saw somebody playing a pretty similar deck. So we're running three colours, so blue, black and red, and we're kind of playing lots of cheap Eldrazi and just kind of being very aggressive with them. So we're starting off with the 1-drop Salvage Drone. So this is a nice 1 mana one blue mana. It gets devoid, so it's colourless. It's got ingest, so obviously mills a card, and when it dies we can also draw a card and then discard a card, which is actually very useful. I found that Salvage Drone's kind of like death ability is very useful for kind of filtering down the deck, which is quite nice. Then got 2 copies of Sludge Crawler, so sorry, we've got 4 copies of Salvage Drone, 2 copies of Sludge Crawler. So again, it's a one mana spell, 1 black mana. It's devoid with ingest, and it's got the ability to give it +1/+1 until end of turn. I've only got 2 copies of this just because, unlike the Savage Drone's kind of draw ability, it's not quite so useful. So just running a couple of copies of this. Then got 3 copies of Mist Intruder. So it is the devoid and flying and ingest. So for 2 mana, it's pretty good. Kind of, it's got the evasion. It's got a nice amount of health, which is pretty cool, and its ingest ability is always nice as well. Our second 2-drop is the Forerunner of Slaughter, so a red-black Eldrazi, has devoid, and also you can then give target colourless creature haste until end of turn. So we're running all colourless creatures in this deck because they've all got devoid. So you can basically give any one of my Eldrazi haste until end of turn, which is quite nice. Then got Processor Assault. So this is a 2 mana 5 damage spell, so you can deal 5 damage to target creature. We do have to remove a card from an opponent's exile pile into their graveyard, but because we're running so many cards with ingest, this isn't usually a problem. We've then got our first 3-drop, which is the Eldrazi Sky Spawner. So this is a nice 2/1 flyer, so 2 damage in the air with the evasion, and it also spawns a 1/1 Scion as well, so either give us a mana boost or just an extra attacking creature. Our second 3-drop is a Bethnic Infiltrator, so a 3 mana 1 blue Eldrazi, has ingest, and it's also unblockable, which is pretty sweet. So we can push through like guaranteed points of damage either at the beginning or the end of the game. Vile Aggregate is one of the kind of the primo cards in this deck. So what you're looking to find is probably one of these, or something like a Smothering Abomination or a Duststalker early on. But this one is pretty awesome. So it's devoid, so no colour. It's only 3 mana, but it's kind of its main ability is the fact that its power is equal to the number of colourless creatures you control. So if you're like controlling like kind of like 4, 5, 6 colourless creatures, this is suddenly huge, this creature. It's also got trample and it's got ingest. So this card for 3 mana has just got bags of value. I like this card. If you can get this card down, it is pretty crazy. Then got 3 copies of Nettle Drone. So this is a nice 3 attack, 3 mana creature. It's also got the nice ability to push through guaranteed damage by tapping it, and it also untaps whenever you play a colourless spell. So say for example you've played this, you've tapped it, you can then play out a couple of copies of what's what I'm looking for, something like Mist Intruder or Salvage Drone to untap it a few more times and push through some more points of damage. Then got Touch of the Void, so a 3 mana burn spell. Does 3 damage to target creature or player, so you can either use it to burn off small creatures or potentially push through a few points of last minute damage. Also, whenever you destroy a creature this way, if you destroy a creature using this card, it gets exiled instead of going to the graveyard, which then synergizes up nicely with the Processor Assault. Finally, to finish off with, we've got Smothering Abomination, so our first 4-drop, double black. It's devoid with flying, and at the beginning of our upkeep we have to sacrifice a creature, but when we do so we get to draw a card as well. So you can use this to sacrifice something like, for example, either Sludge Crawler, Salvage Drone, or the token that the Eldrazi Sky Spawn generates for us, and we can then use that to draw a card. We've then got Duststalker, so this is another 4 mana, it's a red-black Eldrazi. Devoid, obviously for reasons. Haste is pretty fantastic, and then it's got 5 attacks, so you can drop this on an empty board, swing for 5 damage, which is pretty brutal. Can only run 2 copies of it, as it is a rare card. Also, if we control no other colourless creatures, we do have to bounce it back to our hand, but the haste kind of makes up for that, although usually we will have another colourless creature down regardless. So again, synergizing up with all the colourless creatures. And finally, to finish off with, this is one of our big finishers. So this is Barrage Tyrant, so a devoid Eldrazi Eldrazi, which we can then use to sacrifice other colourless creatures and deal damage equal to its power to target creature or player. So we can use this to, say for example, sacrifice a rather large Vile Aggregate and push through like a rather significant amount of damage to our opponent's face, or Duststalker or Smothering Abomination, and then kind of push through a large amount of damage. And then it's also a nice 5/3 creature itself as well, so it's a pretty big body. In terms of the mana base, we're running 4 islands, 3 swamps and 3 mountains. We're then running quite a lot of the dual lands, so we've got 2 Smouldering Marshes, 2 Sunken Hollows, 2 Drowned Catacombs, 2 Sulphur Falls, 2 Dragonskull Summits, and 4 Evolving Wilds to obviously thin down and search for the basic lands that we need. So that's the deck. Let's go play some games. Okay guys, here we have for game number 1. So we're playing the rank 25 Hans Johansson. Double check that in a second, but do we keep this hand? It's not bad, but I think we can do better. This is looking much better, so we can start off with a turn 1 Evolving Wilds and go into turn 2 Mist Intruder. So yeah, I think we're going to keep this hand. So what do we start off with? Do we go for the double black? Or we've also got Vile Aggregate to come down as well, so I think we might start off with a mountain, to be fair, just because it's going to allow us to play out both Sulphur Falls and Dragonskull Summit without having to tap them at all, which is pretty cool. So he's played a Fertile Thicket to start off with, so it looks like we're playing kind of maybe red-green. So we're going to pop Evolving Wilds on our opponent's turn, grab that mountain, so that we can, like I said, we can play both Dragonskull Summit and Sulphur Falls this way. So we'll drop the Sulphur Falls, very nice. We've got the second black source, which is going to be potentially useful for playing out the Smothering Abomination later on in the game. So I think we possibly want to go for maybe 2 Bethnic Infiltrators this turn, or maybe Vile Aggregate and then start dropping the Bethnic Infiltrators. We'll see how it goes. We basically want the evasion, but we also want to drop down Vile Aggregate just because it can potentially be quite big in a couple of turns' time. Okay, so we shall... Ooh, very nice. We managed to find a 4th mana. Well, it's not the most useful, but it will allow us to play out basically anything we want now. We've got all the mana we need for this deck, so it'd be nice if we could just find something else. So we'll swing with the Mist Intruder, push for that point of damage, and then find ourselves... sorry, we ain't going to ingest a Rootbound Crag. So we'll drop Vile Aggregate this turn, just because it's going to get bigger and bigger every turn as we drop more creatures. Let's see what my opponent does. So he's gone for the 3rd mana. Anything here? Okay, he's played Retreat to Kazandu. Interesting. So we've got plenty of evasion to get round potential pumped up Gatecreeper Vines, so should be alright. We'll play another Dragonskull Summit, I think. There we go. We'll also drop a Bethnic Infiltrator pre-combat, mostly so it will pump up the Vile Aggregate and push through trample damage past the Gatecreeper Vine if he decides to block. He might not decide to block as it's already got trample anyway, so we're going to push through 4 damage this turn. Very nice. We're going to double ingest as well, so he's going to get rid of a mountain. And that was weird. Mountain. Oh yes, we got rid of an Akum Hellkite. That's alright. For some reason it looks like it's gone into like my graveyard. No idea why. It's just one of those weird graphical glitches. So I'm assuming he may decide to regain the life here. Or is he going to pump up the Gatecreeper Vine? No, he decided to gain the 2 life. And he's found a Zendikar Incarnate. Okay. So we know we can at least swing this turn with the Vile Aggregate, which is not too bad. Let's play out the Drowned Catacomb and another Bethnic Infiltrator. So this is unblockable, this is unblockable, and this will actually kill his Zendikar Incarnate this turn. So he's going to swing through here. We know it won't die either. So he's going to block with just the 0/2. So we're going to push through a reasonable amount of damage this turn and ingest him 3 times. 1 and 2 and 3. For some reason that Akum Hellkite is still appearing over there. Okay, we got rid of another Zendikar Incarnate. So, and a Ravaging Blaze. That's quite nice. So we know we're pushing through at least 3 damage a turn at the moment, thanks to the 2 double Mist Intruder. Oh, sorry, the 2 double Bethnic Infiltrator and the Mist Intruder. Don't really care about Monvuli Asimos apart from the fact it is going to help him ramp up. Okay, so we decided to pump up his Zendikar Incarnate instead. Now, is he going to swing? No, he is not. Be nice if I got one more colourless creature here. We do get a third Bethnic Infiltrator, which is very useful, as it will allow us to trade with his Zendikar Incarnate this turn. So we do want to do that, because if he decides to obviously block that, that dies, but he's going to let it go through instead. So we're going to take it down to 5. We are playing fast and loose here, because if he does, for example, have a Chandra's Ignition, we will lose everything. We are ingesting a hell of a lot here, though. What do we want to get rid of? Into the Maw of Hell, Natural Connection, Animist's Awakening. Play our Swamp, why not? We've got plenty of mana here. I'm not really too worried about that. So the only thing I'm really worried about now would be a Chandra's Ignition. There it is. Jesus. I was hoping that wouldn't come up, but it did. Well, that's a shame. You know, we had to go for it, and obviously it didn't quite work. We need the only one card that can save us now is our 5/3 haste creature. If we find that, we win. Come on. Nope, we just find a mana, so that's game over. Never mind, it would have been sweet. We got within a few health of him, but obviously this Zendikar Incarnate plus the Chandra's Ignition was in play. I mean, we couldn't really do too much about that. I knew it was probably coming, and I had to just go for it, but unfortunately it didn't work out. So let's go on to game number 2. Okay guys, here we are for game number 2. So we're playing a fellow rank 28 who's his name is just all squares by the looks of things. So we're going to keep his hand. It's a good hand. So we'll start off with a turn 1 Salvage Drone into a turn 2 Mist Intruder into a turn 3 Sludge Crawler maybe. This could be potentially quite good to pump it up later on. So maybe go turn 2 Sludge Crawler. I don't know. I can't decide. Okay, so we've got a Molten Vortex that's come down. Interesting opening turn. So yeah, we'll play the Swamp here, and we'll play out... Yeah, I think we'll play out the Sludge Crawler, just because it's going to allow us to pump it up in a couple of turns' time. They do a similar job. I mean, Mist Intruder might have been better, just because it's got the evasion, but... got the Forerunner of Slaughter, which is quite nice, so we could potentially play that one next turn. I don't know. I might wait to play this one. I could give it haste this turn actually, which could be quite useful. Okay, so we've got double reds so far. What do we ingest? We ingested a Fiery Impulse, which is quite nice. It's going to save us from being having one of our creatures burnt down. Okay, so we've got Majoring Bully here. Does have to attack every turn. So I'm going to play out the Sulphur Falls. Then do I play out Forerunner of Slaughter and then potentially... No, I don't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swing with this. See if he decides to trade. So we are going to... Do we pump it up? Nah, we'll let that one fly. I was thinking of pumping it up if we needed to, but we didn't really need to. So it looks like we're playing an aggro deck. So maybe we'll drop the Mist Intruder this turn. Just so we've got an evasion creature over the top of his head. Cool, we got rid of a Titan Strength, which is quite nice. So the Majoring Bully is potentially quite devastating, but we have ways of, you know, blocking it, stuff like that. Could do a lot of damage to us, but we've got more damage coming across back at him right now, especially with the Duststalker coming up. This is going to be pretty crazy. So my opponent's thinking... He's either thinking I'm completely screwed, or so I'm assuming he's probably going to burn down my Mist Intruder. Yep. Yes, he is. That's fine. We've got the Duststalker to come down this turn anyway, so we're going to hit him for 5. We have 7 actually, if you include the other 2 creatures, and if he doesn't play out a blocker. So he does have another mana. It's quite a lot of mana for a red deck wins. It's an interesting choice with the Molten Vortex, which he is actually going to use. Okay. So he's going to burn down my Salvage Drone. So yeah, we will use that ability. We'll keep Barrage Tyrant and get rid of Forerunner of Slaughter, I think. Just because it's the least useful right now. We need that 5th. We need that 4th mana because we want to get up to Barrage Tyrant, so then potentially use Duststalker to fling it at my opponent. It's going to take 3 damage, which is okay. So we'll go for the Drowned Catacomb. We've also managed to find the Smothering Abomination, which could be quite useful. Might play that next turn if we need to, and then sacrifice the Sludge Crawler, for example. So we're just going to swing for 6 here. Ingest him once, because Duststalker doesn't have Ingest, unfortunately. So take it down to 12. What's he going to do now? What's he got? Fiery Impulse won't kill this. So we must ingest Infectious Bloodlust, which is quite useful. Yeah, I think we might play out Smothering Abomination this turn coming, if we don't find that 5th mana for the Barrage Tyrant. Okay, so he's going to Exquisite Firecraft my Duststalker. That's fine. And he's going to swing with the 3/3. Take him down to 14. So if we don't find the 5th mana, I will play out Smothering Abomination. If we do find the 5th mana, I'll be playing out Barrage Tyrant. So do I play Nettle Drone now and then play out Smothering Abomination next turn? Yeah, I might do that. So I'm going to swing with the Sludge Crawler. Just because this is going to allow us to potentially push through some guaranteed damage. So we'll ingest him for 1, get rid of a mana. Okay, then we'll just play out Nettle Drone. Could potentially allow us to trade with this if he pumps it up too much, I suppose. I highly doubt he can push through 14 damage in 1 turn unless he's got 2 Titan Strengths, maybe. I know he can only potentially have 3 left in the deck. So he's firing impulsing my Nettle Drone. Kind of happy with that. It's not the worst, the worst card, which could be fiery impulsed. So he's going to push for another 3 damage, take us down to 11. So it's a nice trade-off between aggro decks here. So we've got red deck wins versus Eldrazi Aggro. Okay, so we found an Evolving Wilds, which is good. So we can play out Smothering Abomination this turn and then play out Barrage Tyrant next turn. So a swing, ingest him, and then play out Smothering Abomination. So we can then sacrifice Sludge Crawler next turn. There we go. What am I to ingest? An Ember Hauler? It's not too bad. Just wondering what cards he's got left. It's interesting. So he's going to swing with the 2/2. Don't really want to block that. Just pop this now. Grab a red source, maybe? Yeah, red source is probably the best here. Just in case. I don't know. So he pushes through 2 damage. And he's going to Molten Vortex twice, by the looks of things. So he's going to push through 2 damage to my face. Okay, that's weird. So we've got to sacrifice the Sludge Crawler. We draw a card. We find an Eldrazi Skyspawn and a Barrage Tyrant. So I'm going to swing with this, then play out Barrage Tyrant, and we should be able to, in theory, fling this before I have to sacrifice a creature. See how it goes. So, or do I just play out the Eldrazi Skyspawn? We'll just play out this actually, I think. There we go. That gives us a blocker against the 2/2. Because I don't know what he's got and I'd rather block it. Unless he can give it trample somehow, it's going to get blocked. So this is a nice tense match here. So he's going. Oh yeah, this one has to swing, doesn't it? I forgot about that. So I think I'm going to block you because I don't know what he's got. Basically, I know it has to swing, but I'd rather not take that 2 damage if I don't have to. So we're going to Molten Vortex my face again, or maybe even the Eldrazi Skyspawn. No, he's going to play out a Goblin Arsonist. Okay. It's interesting. I might have been tempted to Molten Vortex the Eldrazi Skyspawn there, because I wouldn't have then been able to sacrifice it to keep my Smothering Abomination on the field. Okay, so we'll play out the island here. We shall swing with the Smothering Abomination. Take him down to 4. How much mana have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If we had one more, we could actually just play out Barrage Tyrant and finish it here, but unfortunately that's not going to work, so to play you out now. So what's he got that's going to deal with this? So he's having a look. I'm assuming he just doesn't know what it is. Or he's being a troll, I don't know. So I'm hoping to sacrifice this one before I have to sacrifice a creature, so but as soon as I untap, I'm going to try and kind of fling that using the Barrage Tyrant. So he's going to swing with the 2/2 and the 1/1. Now, do I block here? I think I'm going to have to block you. But I don't... If he's got like some kind of pump up, then I'm screwed basically either way. So he's going to point at my face, okay. And he's then going to Molten Vortex. So what do I go down to here? Am I just dead because I should have blocked that one? I can't tell here. Did I block the wrong creature? I did block the wrong creature, didn't I? Oh, great. That's typical. Okay guys, here we are for the third and final game of the day. We're playing the rank 29 Pippers 27. I'll double check that in a moment. I'm going to keep this hand. It's not too bad. Got 4 mana and 2 salvage drones plus a process result. Yeah, we're playing Pippers 7, not 27, just 7. Okay, so he started off with an Is It Guildgate? What are we going to find? Evolving Wilds is okay. May as well play out now, just because it means we can then potentially play out any of these. What do I go for? Do I go for a mountain or do I go for a an island? I'm going to go for a mountain, I think. I think we're playing Thopters here, so this could potentially go quite wrong for us. I'm not expecting this to go well, put it that way. Mostly because we've got... okay, so he hasn't played anything, so he might be... Wow, another Evolving Wild. That is not great. All we've drawn is mana so far. That was not a good hand to keep in hindsight. But how was I to know my first 2 draws were both going to be mana? You can't predict these things. I was like, oh, 4 mana should be okay. You know, can keep that. I'm expecting, you know, Thopters at some point here. Or not. You never know. Nope, we've got artifacts. We've got the Bonded Construct, which is the oddest artifact you can play. This doesn't really make it that much into artifact decks. Okay, very weird indeed. Wasn't expecting that. Okay, we've found our Duststalker, which is good, so we want to play out a black mana this turn. We'll then swing with the Salvage Drone, because this, even if he decides to block it, we can then trade out one of our manas, hopefully for a decent card would be quite nice. Nope, he's deciding to not block, which is actually good, because it means we can now actually use Processor Assault at some point. And then we'll just play out a second Salvage Drone. Yeah, I was hoping we could have traded that, but it's not the end of the world. We can trade it if he can't really swing with this one this turn now. So what else has he got? I mean, he's not doing too badly as a rank 29, so it must be a reasonably interesting artifact deck. Okay, we've got Pir and Kirin Nalaar. That's not particularly good. At least we can kill it with Processor Assault. So it's a thing. You gonna swing? No, he's not gonna swing. Okay, so we want to kill this ideally. We've got Bethnic Infiltrator, which is good. So I'm going to play out Sulphur Falls. Yeah, I think we're just going to Processor Assault the 2/2. Put his Evolving Wilds back into his graveyard. May as well swing here. I mean, we could take out 2 creatures with it, and then we get 2 card draws, which we can then swap out our 2 lands for. Okay, so we decided not to do that. So we got rid of a Aspiring Aeronaut and a Mist Intruder. Okay, interesting. So this is I don't know what kind of deck this is. It's Thopters with Eldrazi. Oh great, he's found the Thopter Spy Network as well. So we're now facing potentially Thopters every turn. So we've got to move reasonably quick. So he's swinging with 2 creatures here. So we can definitely play out Duststalker this turn. So we take 3 damage. And then he also gets to draw a card because of the Thopter Spy Network. Oh, Vile Aggregate is good though. He's very good. I'm going to play you out this turn. Just because it can be potentially quite huge. And then swing with the 2 salvage drones. So he's going to block one of them with his Thopter. I suppose he gets it back, so he doesn't really mind too much. I will be using Salvage Drone's special ability to ingest a Sulphur Falls. We found another Besnik Infiltrator, which is actually very good because these basically then going to guarantee me damage every turn. So these are very good. Having 2 Besnik Infiltrators is fantastic in my opinion. Luckily, his Thopters don't have haste, so he can only really swing with 3 damage a turn. We're going to be swinging with quite a bit with Vile Aggregate. Maybe you want to hold off on the Salvage Drones from now on. Okay, so he's got an Aspiring Aeronaut, so he basically gets a Thopter on the battlefield, so he gets a bit more damage. See what he swings with this turn now, because we can still swing with Vile Aggregate, as he's not got enough damage on the board yet to kill this by blocking it. So now he has though with the Bonded Construct. Might be worthwhile though to kind of take out a lot of his forces with the Vile Aggregate, however. Or do we just like drop a Duststalker and go that way, sucking in some even more damage? Okay, so he's played out a Perilous Mirror, which is not good for me. Get a Sunken Hollow, so do I go Duststalker or do I go Besnik Infiltrator? I think Duststalker is probably the way to go. I've got to start, but I've basically just got to go heavy here. I've just got to go like kind of full throttle, balls to the wall. Got to go for it. We're being outmaneuvered by Thopters already, so by the artifacts. It's amazing. Like I win kind of like 2 or 3 games in a row with this deck while playtesting, and then suddenly I come and find like some ridiculously hard opponents for the first video, which is not particularly good. But I'll keep playing with it. Hopefully, we'll find some better opponents for next time. I mean, we almost won the second game. I think my mistake was blocking the Goblin Arsonist rather than the what's the word I'm looking for? The Goblin Arsonist rather than the Majoring Bully. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so he's going to kill my Duststalker, but we are going to ingest him once with the Vile Aggregate. We did manage to get rid of the Perilous Mirror as well, so you're going to ingest something interesting. Ooh, that's pretty clutch. The Chief of the Foundry. Yeah, we will use that. We'll keep Touch of the Void, or do we? Do I want double Besnik Infiltrator, or do I want to get rid of Touch of the Void? I'm going to get rid of Touch of the Void just because I think it's the least useful. I think Besnik Infiltrator is probably the way to go here. Just because it's guaranteed damage and it also keeps pumping up my Vile Aggregate. So, that would have been nice, as we could have potentially killed something like the Aspiring Aeronaut or the Bonded Construct. Oh great, so we've got Reclusive Artificer, so this is basically game over now. So he's managed to take out my Vile Aggregate, so 1, 2, yeah, but yeah, I'm basically dead at this point. Oh no, he didn't quite kill it. Oh no, but he's got a Fiery Impulse as well. Haha! That's typical. So yeah, we're kind of dead now. That's annoying, because I feel as though I haven't really represented this deck very well. We've come up against some other aggro decks. I find that this deck does a lot better against the slower decks, unfortunately, so it's kind of annoying. So it wasn't the best representation today. Like I said, I don't think there's anything that can really save me now. Not really, no. I mean, I've got double Bethnic Infiltrator, but we're against a load of flyers, so this is probably game over. Well, that's annoying. It's a fun deck when it all comes together, but unfortunately today it didn't come together, so never mind. We almost won the first 2 games and then obviously got outdone by a couple of key cards right at the very end, so I'll take that as some solace. But I'll leave the episode here for now. As always, guys, don't forget to comment and like if you enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.